going to start with the pink. And what you want to do is you want to create really small balls. So here is the size that you're looking for. If you have a glue stick, you can probably measure it, and if it fits the cap of the glue stick, it's about the right size. Once you have your ball, you want to put it on your table and start molding it into the form of a chick to resemble your Peep. This is pretty easy, not so complicated, which is the purpose for this video, is to show you a very easy technique. So the chick is molded. You'll see how big it is. It's about an inch. I want it to be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to mold in a little bit more, and I'll show you why. Okay, so here's the printable, and with the printable you can measure the size of your Peep here, and you can see this Peep will fit in the box. So that's why it's important to have it less than an inch, and you do. So now you want to start making more. Here it is. Put it on the table. Mold my chick. These don't have to be perfect, but they do need to resemble a Peep. So I have chick 2. You don't have to check every time, but once you get good at this, you'll know that the size is not right. And when you put it next to the other one, you'll see whether or not it's too big or too small. This guy's fine. So now once you have all your lines in, you want to start bending it. Don't bend it too hard. You don't want to crease the coloring, and sometimes that will happen. By the way, this is cardstock. Actually, it's matte photo cardstock is what I use. It's not just plain cardstock, but I'm sure you can use plain cardstock I just try to get the best quality that I can, and I feel like the photo cardstock gives it the quality I'm looking for. And then there's your half a bend right there. So now that you have all your lines in, you're going to grab your glue stick, and we want to put glue on these two sides. Fold it in. Fold it into your box. Look at that. Perfect. Just hold it so it doesn't break away, just to give it a little time to adhere to the sides. And you can see your fold, the folded piece is really nice. It fits perfectly. So once you feel comfortable it's not going to break away, you move to the other side. Some glue. Once again, hold it until you feel fairly confident that it's going to stay. And now you have your Peeps box. And we're going to give these Peeps a little time to dry. This typically takes a while. I let them dry for 24 hours, and when they're drying, another tip is don't just keep them like that because the bottoms are not drying, so every few hours or so turn them to their sides. So the next step of the process is to paint eyes, and here are some I already painted the eyes with the Puffy paint. I take the Puffy paint, I put a little bit on a piece of paper, I use the embossing tool, pick it up and put it on the Peep. So now we'll wait for the eyes to dry and we'll move to the next step. The eyes are dried and now we are ready to coat them in sugar. So you'll need a paintbrush, you'll need your glitter, sugar, this is the one I use, and you'll need some Mod-Podge and a piece of parchment paper. So this is how I go about doing this. So I put a little something on the bottom of this guy. Okay. Put the Mod-Podge on. Feel free to apply it liberally. You don't need to put it on the bottom since these will be put in your boxes and nobody's going to see the bottom. But definitely put enough on. So here are the Peeps as they dry. Pretty cute. And once they dry, we're going to put them in our little box and then wrap it up with cellophane Now that we have our boxes made, let's cut up our parchment paper that we're going to use to line the boxes. Let's grab our Peeps. We have yellow ones and we have pink ones. Get our tacky glue. And position our Peep inside the box. So once you do that, you want to just put them to the side and let them dry. Grab a piece of clear film. Let's measure. So for this piece, and cut. Now the film that you may find from something else may have some edges on it. Just take all of that off because you don't need it. Put it here. Now let's measure for our box. Mine's a little bit longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. We can trim that up. More measuring and cutting. So typically I like to put the part where I'm going to tape at the bottom, just to keep it nice and clear on the top. So here I'm going to trim it again. You could do the same thing. Now wrap it around securely, like that. Looks pretty good. The next thing you'll do is get a small piece of tape. I fold down the top and put my tape on. And now we have a finished side. Here it looks like I need to trim a little more, so I'm going to grab my scissors and do that. You don't want it to be too bulky on the end. So that's the amount I have there. I'm going to cut another piece of tape. Once again, we fold the sides in, fold the bottom up, and fold the top down. And then you have your tape on there. Look at that. Very cute. Perfect doll size. We have more Peeps that I made with a different color. So here are our dolly size Peeps. I put them in my hand. They're a nice size for your doll.